Hello there, my name is Tate and I'm the astrologer here at Whole Touch Natural Wellness and Spa. And I'd like to say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody's doing fantastic now that we're in the brand new 2019 year. 2018 was pretty crazy as far as my life's concerned, and as far as the world's life is concerned. There's been some crazy events that have happened, some upsetting things, some good things. But now we got a new year and we don't know what's going to happen. But anyways, we're going to talk about what the stars and the planets are reflecting and how they're reflecting life on Earth at the moment. So, right now the Sun is in Capricorn along with a bunch of other planets. And to understand Capricorn, you can think of New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions is when everybody has a goal or a few goals or some kind of plan for their life where they decide they're going to do something and they're going to make a change and they set it as a goal. And then they act on it as best as they can. Unfortunately, most people don't really follow through on it. That's always a common complaint. But the essence of Capricorn is similar to New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions is setting goals. And Capricorn is all about setting goals and achieving them. That's the highest possibility with Capricorn. But anyways, to start off here, on Saturday and on Sunday we're going to be having a partial solar eclipse. Whoa, what is that? Well, to understand that, I drew a little diagram. You're going to see some symbols here. Well, you can already see them. I'm going to explain what each of them mean. We're going to be doing this from now on. So, the Sun. This is the Sun. The Sun represents our spirit. It's our soul. It's our purpose in life. It's our individuality. It's our will. What we're meant to basically bring into existence in the world. And the symbol is almost like an aimer. It's almost like an eye with a single point in the middle. And it's meant to burn that into existence. The Sun, where it currently is right now, is giving all life on Earth a certain indication as to what we're supposed to spend our time mostly doing. What's the general theme? What's going on? And the Moon is our internal emotions, is our thoughts and our memories and our feelings. And so the Moon is like a cup on its side in a way. It receives everything, it receives emotions. It's not like it's on its side right here, so it's not going to receive much. But if it was flipped over, it would be filled up with different feelings and different memories and different emotions. And that's what our Moon is. Our Moon is our receptacle. It's like our cup of memories, thoughts, and feelings throughout this life and throughout our past lives, if you believe it. So, and this sign right here, this represents a certain aspect. An aspect in astrology means a relationship between a planet. So planets can be in many different relationships with each other. This represents conjunct. Conjunct just means they're right beside each other. It means they're right on top of each other. And when the Sun and the Moon go right beside each other, we have a new moon. The Moon is spun around all the way around. It's gone full, it's waned, and now it's back to its original spot where the Sun is. And we also have this little guy right here, which is the south node of the Moon, which represents the eclipse point, being near there. It's kind of hard to explain as to how the eclipses work. I'm not going to do that right now, but we're going to be having a partial solar eclipse in Capricorn, which is a new moon with this guy right here. What that means is that from here on out, from the beginning of this year, January 5th to the 6th, the sage is set to set our goals, to have dreams, and to have plans of action to achieve new levels of success in our lives. That's what Capricorn's all about. Capricorn's all about doing the exact, real, tangible actions to make your dreams, your goals, and your wishes a reality. It's about planning something out. It's about doing the hard work. It's about disciplining yourself. It's about being very strict. It's about being organized, systematic. Capricorn, this symbol right here, is symbolized by the mountain goat that climbs all the way to the top of the mountain. It stays at the bottom of the mountain and it looks at the summit. And it's like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to achieve that holy grail, that goal of mine. And I'm going to take all the necessary steps to get there. And I'm going to wear everybody else out, because most other signs, potentially, they get a little bit bored. They don't keep their eyes focused on the summit. They get distracted. Capricorn usually doesn't get distracted. Capricorn has a goal set, it has a plan set in place, and it takes all the necessary steps, knowing that each step it takes is leading it closer and closer there. And it remains stoic. It remains very, very determined and sure. So Sun and Moon in Capricorn there, right now is setting the stage for us to make some kind of plan for success in our lives, is to restructure our lives, is to organize something, is to organize our routines and our jobs and our careers and everything so that we can ensure that new success can be found, that new wealth can be gained. That's what this is going to do right now. It's going to give birth to a whole year about this. This year is going to be about succeeding and achieving and growing and prospering in a tangible way, less so in a spiritual way. In a spiritual way, it can be so. It's more about the material, physical world. It's more about the financial world. It's more about the practical, everyday realities and upping our everyday standard of living. So that's what's going on here. So if you have any plans right now, which I'm sure you do since the New Year's just happened, get working on them and keep persisting at it, and know that each little step you take leads you closer and closer to that holy grail at the top of the mountain. And anyways, moving on from there, not only do we have this partial solar eclipse, we also have 5 planets in Capricorn. Whoa! So, between January 5th to January 19th, most of January, we're going to have the Sun in Capricorn. We're going to have Tate, or the south node of the Moon, in Capricorn. We're going to have Mercury in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn. Most people probably don't know what most of those represent. The Sun represents the general theme, the general energy source, the general drive of the world. It's the light, it's the fuel source. If you look at the Sun, it's how we all stay alive, so think of it that way. K2 represents more what we need to kind of let go of, but also a good strength we have. So we have good strengths right now at our disposal for planning things and ordering and structuring our lives. Mercury, this guy, if you can see it, is a little man with a little kind of hat on, or like ears, or like, I don't know, horns or something like that. You can kind of see it any way you want. The way I like to think of Mercury is like the little messenger boys. You look at, videos of people in the Great Depression or in the 40s and stuff, those little guys that had those hats on and they're like, extra, extra, read all about it, and they have that little newspaper. That's what Mercury's like. Mercury's the messenger. Mercury's the communicator. So all things related to writing, speaking, communicating of any kinds, that's Mercury. Whenever you see that symbol, that's what that means. Extra, extra, read all about it. So where your Mercury is and what sign it's in determines how you communicate your ideas. Right now, it's in Capricorn. Actually, no, sorry, not yet. January 5th it's going to be, until January 19th. And that means that Mercury, the messenger boy, is going to be communicating about how to achieve the goals in life, how to achieve your dreams and wishes in a practical, concrete, tangible way. Not just dreaming about it and talking about it, but just enough that the whole purpose behind the words and the communications you're having is to make tangible action, is to act on it, is to move towards it, is to make something of it, rather than just talk. So, and then Pluto. Pluto is kind of a scary planet. Pluto is kind of like another little guy here, but he's got a floating head. He's like an alien from another dimension. Pluto is the most powerful planet in astrology. It's also the most slowest moving. One way to understand Pluto is to think of the word plutonium. And plutonium is related to nuclear power, or the nuclear bomb. Pluto was discovered when the nuclear bomb was created. So Pluto represents the utmost absolute power in our society. It represents that power within ourselves. We all contain that to some degree. But it also represents that power within the world. World powers, universal powers. Pluto represents the epitome of power in its good and its bad consequences. In its good consequences, we can become massively famous, wealthy, successful, happy. Pluto can transform us with a nuclear power that will just take us to new levels of happiness in our lives. Or the opposite, it can completely destroy an entire country, right? Like the nuclear bomb in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's the exact power of Pluto. So Pluto is in Capricorn. Capricorn representing structures, organizations, business, famous people, CEOs, achieving goals, achieving dreams. Pluto right here is manifesting people's dreams and wishes. At the same time, it's also taking people down left, right, and center. We all know how many people have been taken down recently. How many people have fallen from grace. as you can say. It's been a lot of that recently. There's been a lot of famous people, rich people that have, something's been revealed about them, and they've completely fallen off their pedestal. I don't even need to name any. There's lots of them. I'm sure you probably already know. So Pluto also, Pluto is almost the assassin. It reveals things that are hidden, powerful things that are hidden, traumatic things too, but also deeply transformative. So Pluto in Capricorn is granting people the ability to create a lot of success for themselves. But if they misuse it, and if they try to hide bad actions that they've done, or they do bad actions while they have that power, Pluto will knock them out. And that's what's happening right now. And then we have Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn, it's kind of like a little man sitting somewhere. It's like a dude sitting there with no head, kind of sitting like on on something, his legs hanging. So Saturn is very stern. It's like a stern old man kind of sitting there, just like, you think you know what life is? You think you know how you're going to achieve something? You think you know how to be happy, how to be successful? Well, you got to work really hard, buddy. You got to work really, really hard at doing it. Nothing comes easy in this world. Saturn says that. He's the old man sitting there, looking at you like, you think you know what life's all about? I'm going to show you what it really is about and how you can actually be somebody in this world. So Saturn is very restrictive. Saturn is very realistic. It's almost pessimistic. Saturn is the planet of structure, of order and form, rules, regulations. It's like the police officer or the judge in a way. But it's also the teacher, and it's also the planet that can create the most lasting success in our lives. And Capricorn is its home sign. Capricorn's all about those Saturn things. It's about structure and order and achievement and hard work. So right now Saturn's very happy. He's like, yeah, I'm at home. This is my home right now. So there's all these planets right now in Capricorn. So whatever kind of business, venture, opportunity, project you have been thinking of recently, now's the time to dig deep with it. Get your hands in the dirt. Talk about it. Construct some kind of plan. Systematize something. Figure out what your highest goal is, and then write out a way of how to achieve it. Because that's what this is all about. And this whole year is going to be about that. The first new moon, is a partial solar eclipse, is going to be within Capricorn. So buckle up and keep working hard, and you will succeed at what you're going to do. Now, there's some other little things that are happening currently. For about the next week or so, but these are good to know. Hopefully you can see these. Alrighty, I'm not sure if anybody noticed, but once New Year's was over, December 31st, and it was January 1st, did anybody notice a crazy surge of energy? Like a wild surge of energy for doing something, like right away? I know I did. But I do know that I knew what the astrological transits that were going on were, but some other people that I know didn't, and I could sense that they were kind of feeling that same thing too. Anyways, what am I talking about here? I'm talking about Mars moved into Aries right on January 1st. So generally speaking, usually after New Year's people try to get their stuff together, but it was crazy this year. For me especially too, I was just going at it really hard, and my brother was too, and he doesn't really know a lot about this stuff. Mars, let's take a look at this symbol right here. If anybody knows what this symbol represents, you can think of it as like the masculine symbol. It's a symbol for males. You've seen in Austin Powers, he has that necklace, and there's this sign on it. It represents masculinity. It's almost like a weapon of some kind. It's like a fist, or it's like the male sexual organ, right? At the same time, it's sticking out like that. So Mars represents that force. It represents that power. It represents that masculine dominant energy, that aggression to get things done. And everybody has that in their charts. Everybody has a male side and a feminine side. So you can't disown it. They're both necessary. But if they go haywire, if they kind of go a bit crazy, then bad things happen. And with this planet, if bad things happen with the masculine side of ourselves, especially men, violence, all kinds of horrible stuff happens. Everybody knows that. So we got Mars here. And Mars just moved into Aries. And what is Aries? Aries is Mars' home sign. Aries is the war zone, the battlefield. Aries is basically action, doing, constant movement, constant exertion of oneself, instinct, gut reactions, just charging into battle head first. Aries is symbolized by the ram. The ram just charges into battle. It just bashes its head into things. It doesn't really think. So Mars in Aries just wants to act and do and do and do and do and do. And it entered Aries right on New Year's Day. And I definitely felt that. And my brother did too. And I think a few other people did. I think the whole world did. So remember this. This is going to be going on for a while now. It's going to be going on from now until February 13th. So there's lots of energy to do these things. Because remember, we got all this Capricorn. We have all this Capricorn going on right now to make our dreams, our objectives a reality. And now we have the energy to do so. And then yes, I was talking about this earlier, we got Mercury. Again, we got the little guy with the hat, the extra read all about it type of dude, or girl, in Capricorn, who wants to talk about achieving goals, achieving dreams, and achieving the wishes and the desires that we've had throughout our lives, and planning it out and mapping it out. And that's going to be going from January 5th to January 23rd. So remember that. And then we have Venus in Sagittarius from January 7th to February 3rd. And this is an interesting one. So Venus kind of looks like Mercury, but it doesn't have a little hat on. This is the symbol of women, of the feminine side, if anybody's noticed. So Venus represents all things feminine, all things beautiful, all things luxurious, and all things desirable, all things valuable. It's the reason why life is good. It's the reason why there's happiness, why there's joy in the world. Venus represents all those things, all the goodness of life. It represents the feminine principle, but it also represents anything that you value, anything you find beautiful, anything you find pleasurable. It's also relationships. It's also joy and happiness from relationships. And now that it's in Sagittarius, it's going to be going in there on January 7th. There's going to be a bit more bravery. You're going to find some joy in being brave with your efforts, about living by a philosophy of some kind, of sharing knowledge and insight, and using that knowledge in your quest to achieve your goals and your dreams right now with the immense energy we have. So Venus is going to be attracted to living by a code of some kind of principles, some kind of code of honor, and expanding our worldview, while at the same time not forgetting that we need to concretely manifest it into something tangible for ourselves to create wealth and happiness for us and our loved ones. And then, moving on here, we have Mercury, again, the extra guy, read all about it, in a trine aspect with Uranus. So, Uranus represents revolution and change and innovation and radical ideas. Trine represents a nice harmonious flow. The planets are working well together, they're communicating harmoniously. They're like, aha, Uranus has like, let's change the world. Mercury's like, okay, I'm going to go tell everybody about it. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. So right now there's some really good ideas probably popping up in our heads about how we can make some unique changes in our lives. That's what this aspect's all about. It's going to be going from now until January 7th. So make use of it while you can. But there's some other things kind of happening with Mercury right now, and I'm kind of feeling it. Mercury is square with Chiron. Mercury is the extra read all about it guy. Square represents tension. It's like, imagine trying to push a square, try to moving a big box through like a door or like a hallway. It's very tough. It keeps banging its corners on things. It doesn't flow very well. Or a person who's a square is kind of stuck up, kind of caught up in their own issues and their own biases. So a square aspect means that those two planets are at tension with one another. They cause conflict, and they may kind of jab out suddenly. So Chiron is an asteroid, and it's symbolized by the wounded healer. Chiron represents the wounds and pains we've experienced in our lives. Ones that are really, really painful, that almost feel like sometimes impossible to deal with. Like they're so painful, in a way. And while that is kind of a sad fact about Chiron, its purpose is that we heal other people who have suffered the same thing. And from helping other people with the same problems that we've had, with the same pains and wounds we've experienced, is that we'll be healed. We will be alleviated from those problems when we help other people with it. If we just wallow in it, we may never feel any kind of relief from it. So when Mercury square with Chiron, it means that we may be thinking about some painful memories right now. There may be some almost like, yeah, unmanageable feelings of, I don't know, tragic, painful, wounded experiences in our past. Or there's just this reminder in our minds of how things maybe have went wrong and how much more painful it feels right now. So there's that right now. But that's not going to last that long. It's only going to last until January 7th, so that's going to go away soon. So if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling like there's all these memories of things and you're feeling down about yourself and you feel hurt, you're thinking about things that are hurting you a lot, it'll go away. But know that if you talk to other people about it, you can help other people with that, you may be able to alleviate those symptoms for yourself. And then, this is a funny aspect. We got Mercury, right? And I've said this like 1,000 times already, but Mercury is the extra, read all about it guy. And we have Mars, and this is the masculine, forceful, aggressive assertiveness. And its square is tension between the planets, is disharmony, is things exploding out and then nothing happening. So Mercury wants to communicate, Mars wants to act. There may be some tough times communicating what we want to act on, or expressing our will, or expressing our desires. And that's going to start today actually, and it's going to go until January 12th. So what we want to do and what we want to desire to do, it may explode out of our mouths. We may be a little bit cruel with the way we speak. So we want to be careful about how we're speaking to other people. There may be just an aggressiveness to everything and a forcefulness that's frustrated. So that's going to be happening for a while. But it's a good time to, let things be known about what you've wanted to do in terms of these goals and these structures and these achievements you want to make in your life. So, January 3rd to January 12th will be that one. And then finally, this last one. This is a very, very nice aspect, but it is pretty intense. We have a big grand trine. A grand trine. Trine is a harmonious aspect. It's when you have 3 trines between planets and it forms a nice, beautiful triangle in the sky. I'll actually show you it on my computer really quickly. Hold on. You want to just zoom into that? There we go. See that nice, beautiful triangle? That means that there's 3 planets that are in harmony with each other. And it's a certain good quality that we're able to tap into now. And the 3 planets that are in trine with each other like this is Chiron, which is the planet of pain and wounding and misfortune of the past, but also the ability to heal that if we share those experiences with other people and we help others do it. And Venus, which is our relationships, which is our sources of pleasure, which is beauty and luxury, the feminine principle. And then we have Rahu, which is the north node of the moon, which is the eclipse point, which is where we're always being kind of sucked towards. There's always this pull towards Rahu. We almost kind of want to manifest this along with wherever the sun is. We want to do both of those too. So there's a big, nice combination here of what's going on. Chiron in Pisces represents it. There's been a wounding within the world at the spiritual level, at the level of wholeness and oneness with each other. There's a wound, there's a very painful spot there that everybody's feeling. It's like, we know, if you're into spiritual stuff, you know that we're all one, we're all connected. But that very fact of acknowledging it is very, very painful to admit, because that means that even though we've never done something to, another group of people, like we've seen groups of people do to other people, terrorism, all kinds of violence, we know that because we're human and because we're one, that still exists within us. And that is a very painful fact to admit and to understand, but it's the only way to really get rid of it, is to understand that and accept that everybody has the capabilities to do that. So that's a Chiron Pisces type of thing. And that's in relationship, harmonious relationship with Venus, which is in Scorpio. And Venus in Scorpio is attracted to the deep inner mysteries of our emotional worlds. Venus in Scorpio is bonding together in relationship with another person, or finding pleasure from experiencing deep turbulent emotions and revealing things that have been hidden. So Scorpio kind of represents the darkness of our emotional world. It represents like the deep bottom levels of the ocean where there's giant squids and things. And the giant squids are emotions and currents and weird tendencies that everybody has deep within them. And Venus is diving in there. And it means that there's an attraction almost to that. But as a means of transforming it, of transforming those darknesses, transforming those primal energies into something better. So right now there's this pain associated with spirituality and connectedness with other people. There's an attraction towards diving deep within ourselves, within other people, bonding at an emotional, intense level, and feeling this wounds contained within another person, and how they're potentially contained within ourselves too, and we need to heal it both ways. And this is all being pulled towards Rahu, which is in Cancer. And Cancer is the third water, well, is another water sign. This is all water here, so it's all about emotions. It's a lot of emotional feelings right now. There's a lot of turbulent waters in everybody's souls. So Cancer, with Rahu and Cancer, there's a pull towards using this understanding of the pain and the wounds that exist within all people, of the world that exist within your partners, within your family, within your friends, understanding it and bonding and being okay with that within each other, being like, it's okay that you have these tendencies, or you've done this or something, because everybody has that within them, and we can't move on until we forgive it. And that is all being pulled towards Cancer, which is about caring for people, which is about creating a home, a safe environment, nurturing people, feeding people, making them feel loved, motherly love and nurturance. So there's the pain of the past and the harshness of becoming one with everybody in the world and feeling unconditional love. There's a lot of pain that we have to go through before we get there. And there's attractions and sources of bliss and pleasure to be found from diving into those deep emotions that may freak us out, and transforming our relationships, and all using that towards creating a safe space, creating a home, a nurturing environment that we can then deal with those elements together, and we can move on to bigger and better places for ourselves and for our loved ones. And again, right, this is all emotional stuff, but the name of the game is success right now, the success and achievement of goals. So use all those emotional experiences you've had, use those past painful relationships that you've been hurt by, or transform the relationships you currently have. Try to understand what's going on within other people, and how that may be, that may be something you're doing too that you're not aware of in that kind of way. That's always a possibility. And use that to care for yourself, to care for other people, and to know that it's okay, and to let them know that they can be forgiven, and to forgive other people. And in that way we can use that power to achieve these goals and these dreams, and potentially have crazy success in our lives. Anyways, guys, this has been the summation of the astrological transits, the positions of the planets this week and the next coming months. We'll see you soon, and I hope you have a great start to your new year. Get busy.